Sun Tzu Prime in the game already? Let's go. This is going to be the video that's going to talk about the infantry, okay? Because they just got a massive upgrade with Sun Tzu Prime, who's going to be on the wheel. He's going to be in the field. So we are going to put together and update our infantry tier list and our infantry march lists, okay? This video is going to go through the tier list of all the different pairings, how they're going to work, and it's also going to give you the ideas on how you want to run your marches, whether you're running 1 infantry, 2, 3, or even some of you psychos running 4 infantry. This is the video that's going to set you up as we prepare to get Sun Tzu Prime in Rise of Kingdoms. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chadsky, and I do these videos all the time. These are the most fun videos that I like doing. I like doing these guides. I like showing off the nuances. I like to be able to tell you exactly what to run and how to run it. And with that, if you would be so kind, throw a like on here. Really helps out the channel and these videos with the algorithm. That's what they tell me, and it works out really well. Also, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. Join the legion of people we've got. Subscribe to the channel. Also, you can hit that bell for any alerts that you might want. Well, we got Sun Tzu Prime, and I'm going to have a card in the top because we went through all the skills of his just the other day. And so with that being said, now they've already put him in the game, and we have reviewed his skills. We've gone through all the different skills and how they work. He's a single target damage commander, okay? And so with that, he does have an area of effect of true damage, but more importantly, not getting hung up on how much damage the true damage is, because we've seen that true damage is not a whole lot of damage, and it being only, what, 20% of the smite damage, probably not going to be a lot. But the main thing is what that true damage triggers when you do AoE true damage. It triggers rage, and Sun Tzu Prime is a rage machine. Oh my god, it's crazy. Also, you can see on his rage requirement only 900. Okay, he doesn't even have a 1000 rage requirement, so you're going to fire off your active skills much faster with Sun Tzu Prime. He has to be a primary commander. That's the way that thing works. He reminds me so much of Huo, it's not even funny. And here's the reason why, okay? We have, because that's the first thing somebody asked me is, hey, Chadsky, is he a must-max commander? Okay, I compare him a little bit to Gang Gang in the sense that we just got Gang Gang in the game, okay? He came into the game, he's a single target commander, just like Sun Tzu Prime, but then his other thing is that he heals. He does a lot of healing, okay? Well, he does his best healing when he has a massive combo commander behind him. So he's kind of a gimmick commander in the sense that he has to have a big combo damage dealer behind him to maximize his healing, to maximize his effectiveness in the field. And so you put Gang Gang with Arthur. Trust me, I did it last KVK. Not phenomenal. It's okay, but it's not great. You put like Hector behind Gang Gang, not phenomenal. It's okay, but it's not phenomenal. You put Achilles behind Gang Gang, holy jeez, like it is wild. And so people were asking me, is he a must-max commander? He is not. It's really difficult for single target commanders to be must-max field monster type commanders, okay? The must-max commanders in the game, it's really pretty simple, all right? There's 5 of them. All right, you start with Chen. He is the most important commander in the game to get. He's an arch commander. You've got the 2 infantry commanders with BQ and Luce. You've got Arthur, and then you've got Achilles. Those are your 2 cav commanders, okay? And the commonality with all 5 of them is that they all do massive amounts of AoE damage, all of them. Like huge amounts of AoE damage. And that's why they're field monsters. That's why they're the commanders you got to strive for. So we had Gang Gang, and now we have Sun Tzu Prime. And the first question I get is, Chadsky, is he a must-max commander? Okay, do you put him with those other 5? And the answer is, he's as close as anybody's been to those 5. Okay, he's better than Gang Gang in that sense. And the reason why is because he's still single target. Okay, but he does so much rage generation, and he does this little area of effect of the true damage, and he's got an instant proc smite that's really not all that much, but it doesn't matter. You just want to fire off smite so you can proc the true damage, so you can use the true damage to proc the rage. That's what you want. And so he's going to be a single target nuker, and he's going to fire off his active skill so freaking fast. And so the best thing to do with him, a lot like Gang Gang, is you go put a big time, massive damage dealing commander behind him, because you want to fire off either BQ or Luce every 6 seconds, as fast as you can in the field, okay? But do I put him at that level of Musmax? No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know he can maybe perform as well in certain cases, but I just can't do it. We're going to leave BQ and Luce up as the Musmax commander. So now that we've kind of gotten that out of the way, and we've got our boy Sun Tzu, we have Ivar as well. And so I'm not really going to put him in the field, because just about all of his skills work for rallies and garrisons. The third and fourth skill, do his first 2 skills work well enough to be able to put him in the field? Probably not. You do get the expertise, but that's more of a rally type of situation here with the normal damage mitigation. So probably not going to use him in the field. But now we have all these smite commanders. How are we going to run them? What are we going to do? Okay, so let's go through that, because the first thing we're going to talk about is the actual tier list. So let me pull this up. This is the infantry tier list, okay? This is exactly what you need to run when it comes to your infantry, all right? The first and foremost, what you want to do is have your boy and our boy, everybody's boy, BQ and Luce. That's the first thing that you put up here. But because of Sun Tzu, and I'm going to have some information down below. Billick did a great job with this. He kind of calculated the damage. If the true damage is reading how we think it's going to read, we're calculating the true damage, and Sun Tzu Prime is really, really close. So I'm going to put him at an S level. I think with Luce, he fires off a little bit quicker, and he does obviously Luce's big damage for AoE. And then we've also got him with BQ. So those are your S tier marches. As you can see, it's the same 3 commanders. They're just in different order. I would put this one slightly ahead, but this is going to be really good, guys. It's going to be so good, and it gives you options. You know, Sun Tzu can work with Luce behind or work with BQ behind. Those are the 2 commanders you really want to focus on with Sun Tzu behind. From there, okay, this is what is interesting about this and what people have to understand. From there, we want to look at BQ with Hector, Luce with Hector, then check this out. This is a 5515 Sun Tzu. Okay, I talked about this, and it's in my previous video. You can go back and watch this. Sun Tzu 5515 is going to be fantastic. Okay, so I had to put him in the rank there. All right, the third skill, which we talk about, you get half the benefit of the third skill. You get 10% defense, you get 5% more smite damage, and you get half of that damage factor of 400. You get 200 of that, okay? But that 50% chance is the same no matter if this is level 5 or level 1, and that's all you care about. You just want to lay down any kind of smite damage, all right? Because if you are running the military sage for 5 seconds, okay, for the next 5 seconds, you get this thing, military sage buff in effect. And anytime you do any skill damage whatsoever, you're going to do the true damage. Well, we're not looking at his instant proc at a 200 damage factor at level 1 as any kind of big damage. And honestly, 400 is not amazing either. But what it does is it fires off the fixed true damage he does in AoE to 2 enemy targets. Okay, when he does that, the more he does that, because he can do that anytime he wants in this military sage 5-second uptime. Anytime he does that, he's just generating rage. Okay, so that's the TLDR of it. It's you run him 5515 because his expertise is hardly anything, guys. It's basically taking his regular active skill and then taking the smite damage to a target. This commander troop also deals 20% of this smite damage to fixed true damage, okay? Which isn't going to be a ton of damage, but the only thing different with his expertise is now that goes to 30%, okay? Well, that's not, anytime we've ever had true damage in the game, it's just not a big damage factor. Even if it's taken like from the smite, or if it's taken as a calculation of skill damage or something like that, it's not going to be a high damage factor. So going from 20% to 30%, all things else the same, is just like nothing. It's like a very underwhelming expertise. So now you're saying, okay, we can run him 5515 and go cook with that. That's what we're going to do. And that's what we've got. So we put him with Luce or BQ in that A category. That's where he's at. Okay, and so from there, that's how this thing works. And now we get into the William Wallace aspect of this. BQ with Wallace, absolutely love it. I love that march. Love it to death. It is an exceptional march. You could argue that it could maybe go up here because William Wallace might be as good as Hector. I just found out I had better luck with Hector when it came to this. So this is how this is set up. So William Wallace with Luce behind him, exceptional march. Really, really good. I don't like to run William Wallace near as much as a primary, but that's how you can run that. Then you've got Sun Tzu with William Wallace. So these are all kind of your really, really top tier marches. They're not the S tier, that's the absolute best, but you could run all these and go trade exceptionally well. Just depending on your preference, you could easily put William Wallace up here and put him up here, and then have your Hectors behind it. Does not matter. Okay, they're all about the same in my eyes. So those are all the different combinations, which I think is really, really good now that you're using all these different combinations, okay? The next tier, the B tier, is going to introduce Luce and Alex. Now, you can say Luce and Alex is up here because a lot of people will tell you Luce and Alex, even to this day, trades just as well as Wallace with Luce, or trades just as well as BQ with Wallace. So I've got them down here because this is kind of your Luce Alex, Luce Philip, and then you bring in your CJ. This is where CJ comes into play. Really, really good. I love CJ. I love him as a smite commander, and I love running Pincer. Like, the difference between running Luce with CJ and then Luce and Alex and Luce and Philip is that you're doing more smite damage. So Pincer really plays into effect. But obviously with Philip, you're running more buffing. With Alex, you're running more debuffing, and you're getting that shield and the instant proc. So there's all kinds of different ways to run that, but these are all about the same. They're all really, really good and about the same. I would probably, if I had to rank it, I'd probably put Philip right up here. And in some arguments, you could do it like this. No problem. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do that and kind of figure it out. All right, so outside of that, we now have the next round, which is Ragnar with Philip, Ragnar with CPO. Don't run, man. I'm just telling you guys, only in a must situation do you even think about running Ragnar with CPO or Ragnar with Philip. Just get away from infantry skill damage. You can kind of run it if you have to, but that is something I do not want to look at. So if I had to rank out these marches of how you're going to run skill damage with Alex, or how you're going to run your smite marches with Alex, throw Philip in the mix, or CJ in the mix, Wallace, Hector, all of them, that's the tier list I would go with. That's what I would, and I ran this. I put my money where my mouth is last KVK, and I ran this right here, and I ran this right here. Loved it. Now, I didn't have these two, and I had two smite marches, but that's how I did it. Okay, and I liked having Hector behind BQ. It was great, but you can do it a bunch of different ways, and so it gives you different options. I'm just telling you about the strength of the march, and the most eye-popping thing there is the 5515 Sun Tzu. He's gonna be so good at 5515. He is gonna be right up there. In fact, I'm telling a lot of players, just don't worry about maxing him yet. If you have the heads to try to get him to 5515 and the skill resets to get lucky enough to get that last skill to get to 5, that's how you want to run that. Then you can just continuously run the wheel and get his last 360 heads, okay? So that's how you want to run that, all right? So from there, we got to now look at how are we going to run our marches? You know, we rank the marches of the order of importance and how good and effective it is. How do we want to run these things? Well, we got you covered here because this is exactly how I'm going to do it. There's all kinds of different variations, so there's nothing that's like extraordinary and everything else sucks. It's just basically a matter of opinion, and it's also a matter of performance, really. And so from there, you want to make sure that you're trying to do it as best you can. So let's pull this up here, and we'll talk about the infantry march list. And if you're going with one march, this is my recommendation. Still BQ and Luce, okay? 5 target AoE on both, massive damage. You go put a horn on that, you're firing off so fast, 7 seconds each. You've got Luce's expertise going off, that's the one march I would still roll with if I was running one infantry march. I already have people asking me, like, hey, with Sun Tzu in the game, I've got Luce max and I'm working on BQ. I've got him 5551. What should I do? I'm like, just finish BQ, because those two commanders aren't going anywhere, and they're still part of your must max situation. Okay, and so it's a little bit more cumbersome with Sun Tzu because he has to be primary. You can't really use him in artifact KVKs and go put him elsewhere like we do with Luce, where we'll go run Luce behind Achilles, or we'll go run Luce behind Attila or something. It's really, really difficult to do that with Sun Tzu. So that's your number one march. That's what I would go with. Okay, some people say, hey, you could run Sun Tzu with Luce. We're gonna find out, we're gonna see, but judging by everything we've got, with all the stats, with all the calculations, that for me, this will still be the number one march. Okay, the top two march setup gonna be really simple, and like I said, when it comes to one march, Sun Tzu Luce, I mean, it might just do just as well. I mean, the numbers are kind of showing that it's going to do just about as well. And so it just depends on what you like. Well, I've got BQ and Luce. I can't get away from it, guys. It's too good AoE. That's how it works. If you're running two marches, this is exactly how I'd run it. Okay. BQ and Wallace is already a proven commodity. I run it last KVK. It was my best infantry march. All right. And I ran Luce and Alex. Now I have my best gear on it, but from that standpoint, it really did well. Now I can put Sun Tzu in front of Luce. Hey, yo, let's go. There's a couple of different ways you could run that. Some people might want to run it a little bit differently. Some people would run it with BQ behind Sun Tzu, and then they would run Luce and Alex. Like, there's all kinds of different ways you can do that, but for me, the one I really like is this way right here, because I know what BQ and Wallace do, and then Sun Tzu with Luce is gonna be cracked, absolutely cracked. So we're going to look now at a two march with no William Wallace. All right. That's going to be Sun Tzu and BQ. Then it's going to be Luce and Hector. Okay. I would rather run Hector as a smite commander than I would rather run Alex or Philip. Okay. And if you don't have Hector, then like I said, you could easily just go put Luce and Philip there, or Luce and Alex, however you want to do that. But Sun Tzu with BQ is gonna be fantastic. Okay, there's so many synergies there with the malice stacks that fire off for smite damage from BQ. It makes Sun Tzu like a Gatling gun with his true damage, which you're not concerned about the damage. You just want the rage, and that rage generation is gonna be wild. So that is why I like Sun Tzu BQ. Seems like they work really well together, but I think this two march setup is going to be the best. Okay. And then this two march setup, if you don't have William Wallace, I think is great. I ran Hector behind Luce. I ran him behind BQ. Just absolutely worked well. You could switch up these commanders if you want to. And then you've also got the Philip option and the Alex option if you want. Okay. Now we're talking 3 marches with 1 skill. Okay. This goes back to this lineup here with Ragnar and Scipio. If you have to run it that way, that's the best way that you can do it. Okay, so now let's talk about 3 marches full smite. Okay, this is what is really, really interesting. These are the 3 I would love to run full smite. That's 6 smite damage commanders. And you would run like 3 pincers on that and just go hammer this thing. That's what I will probably run, but I might switch out some things here. I might get a situation where I go put Hector with my Arthur and then run Philip and go run Philip behind Luce, or Alex behind Luce and then move CJ over here. I can do a bunch of different things. So in fact, that's what I'm going to show here. You could easily put Philip behind Luce, put Alex behind Luce. You could easily run BQ with CJ. You could easily run Wallace with CJ or Wallace with Luce. You could do it a whole bunch of different ways. Okay. But these 3 is what I would love to run if I had all of my feelings and I could put Philip somewhere else and put that situation together. So that gives you an idea of 1 march. This is what you got. Okay, BQ and Luce. Could have this, honestly. Could even have this if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick with BQ and Luce. 2 march, that's how I would set it up. But at the same time, you could also do it just like this, where you could run it like that and like this. Or you could run it like that and or like this, or you could run 2 marches like this, however you want to do it. But for me, I'm running this, and I'm running this, and I'm running this. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So from there, that is what I think we're going to go see. Okay. And so I think it works out really, really well from how we're going to run this thing. BQ and Wallace know what it does. And then obviously Sun Tzu with Luce. Now 2 marches without William Wallace, you see. 3 marches, 1 skill, you see. 3 marches, full smite. That's it. And then back to reviewing let me pull this up, and then let me come over here. This is the actual tier list, and you love my Sun Tzu 5515. Let's go. So listen, guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you did enjoy it and you liked what we did, please throw a thumbs up on here. Get down in the comments. I love getting involved in the comments. I love talking with everybody and getting your feedback and takeaways. But this is your infantry march tier list and your infantry march list. Wanted to do this video. Make sure you guys had all the information you could as you prep to run 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry marches. Here's how you do it. So with that being said, we'll see you later, broskies.